Hi, welcome to another exciting segment of EaseE Eats. I'm Chef Jamie, and today we are going to do pork spare ribs. I know, everybody has a recipe for pork spare ribs, passed down from generation to generation. This is, everybody's a chef when it comes to ribs, just like everybody's a doctor, a lawyer, a car mechanic, and a comedian. Okay, speaking of comedian, did you hear about the rumor of the butter? It's okay, I won't spread it. So, this is my recipe, EaseE Eats recipe for spare ribs. So, if you have your own, awesome. If you want to try mine, I think it's awesome. So, here we go. This is the pork spare rib, okay? There is a small membrane that needs to come off it. It's called the peritoneum. Some people call it silver, but the membrane peritoneum is also in your body that holds your guts together. So there's a little information for you. But the peritoneum has to come off before you cook it, because it does not cook and it gets tight, and it kind of makes the pork ribs like shrivel. It makes them very tight and it's not edible. So anyway, here we go. Here's the peritoneum. This is not easy. This is probably, I know a lot of chefs that don't take it off, and it's not a good thing to do. It takes a little time. It's painstaking sometimes, but you want to dry out the rib, okay? Nice and dry, and then you want to find that membrane. I picked it from the top. If we can get a close-up of this membrane on here, that would be awesome. So you want to grab it and you want to peel it. As you see, it's starting to peel. I took it from the top, and you want to peel this membrane down. See how it's coming off? And I'm going to grab this little bit that's here. This is very important because when I braise mine first before I put them on the grill. So this is a two-step process. This is the most painstaking part of the whole meal. Hence, some chefs just don't want to do this. But if you're one of those chefs, God bless you. Here you go. So here it is. This won't cook, this membrane. And if you can see it, I can see how it holds your guts together because it's very, very tough, and it will not cook. So, very important thing. And then one other important thing is that we should always have a trash can next to us of some kind. So, I've made a trash can, and normally I do have a trash can depending on what we're doing, but it's nice to have it here so you don't have to run around. I've done this, so this is ready to go. It's pretty dry. I put BBQ seasoning on mine, okay? And this recipe's for 2 ribs, okay? It's nice and dry. BBQ seasoning, both sides. Again, this is a 2-step process. So I'm going to place it here in this pan with its other buddy. Put this over here. Okay, you don't want to overcrowd it. This is plenty for this pan. And then I've taken Sweet Baby Ray's, one of my favorite, honey Chipotle, and Sweet Baby Ray honey barbecue. Okay, and I mixed it in with water. Now this gave me 8 cups with liquid. So I put these in. These are 18 ounces a piece. Put water in here to get rid of the, use up what was on the sides. Put it all together. So we have 8 cups of stock. I'm going to pour the stock on the side so not to infringe upon the beautiful seasoning on top of the pork. And as you see, it's almost covering it, about 3/4 of the way. Okay, I'm going to braise this for approximately 1.5 hours at 400 degrees in a convectional oven. So, I'm going to take my foil, which I have already eased out right here, and I'm going to put it on top. It would be nice to put a piece of parchment paper on top first. Notice that I'm using foil pans because it's an easy cleanup. Easy eats, easy clean. Make sure this is very, very tight because you want the steam inside to permeate the pork to braise it to tender. And you can overcook these if you over braise them, and then it'll be falling off the bone. You want to get very, very close to falling off the bone, but not all the way. You have to touch it. Like touch it with a fork, the fork comes out. You can see when it's getting really tender. So this is step one. And we'll be back in an hour and a half when this is done to do step two, which is putting more barbecue sauce on it and putting it on the grill. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our rib session. So what we did is we put the stock into the pan, covered the pan. I thought an hour and a half would be good. Actually, it would be 2 hours and 15 minutes at 400 degrees in a conventional oven. It would be a lot less in a convection. So what I did is I drained the stock and I started to reduce it. So if you can get a shot of this, this has been reducing for about an hour. Okay, it's starting to get real thick. I'm going to reduce it down even more, and that'll be the sauce that we're going to use for the future. And I've already put some sauce on the ribs, and I've grilled the ribs. So that's just for time's sake, speed of service here. So reduce this by at least half, and it's not half yet, and it's starting to get thick, which is telling me we're doing a good job with it. And that has the pork flavor in it. That's going to give that barbecue sauce a different flavor. It'll give it that pork barbecue honey chipotle flavor profile, I should say. So now what goes with the ribs? We did the corn, the grilled corn, or the roasted corn, whichever way you want to do that. You can do that. And then we're going to make a simple coleslaw. EaseE Eats coleslaw. So what I have here is 2 pounds, 2 pounds? No, 1.5 pounds, 24 ounces of shredded cabbage with some shredded carrots in there. And I'm going to make the dressing. So I make my dressing a little bit different. We're going to use Aquafaba. If you remember that, we made that before. The Aquafaba is a vegan mayonnaise. You'll never know the difference. So I have 1 cup of Aquafaba. Okay, but before I do that, I'm going to take the sugar, which is calling for a 1/4 cup of sugar, and 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. Okay, and what I'm going to do, no, actually 3, I'm sorry, my bad. And we're going to mix this together so it dissolves the sugar. Very important to dissolve the sugar, otherwise it'll be all gritty, and we don't want a gritty sauce. So you stir this around until you dissolve it. Then you put your Aquafaba in there. You can use mayonnaise, Aquafaba. If you're vegan, Aquafaba. If you're not, mayonnaise. And if you don't want the mayonnaise, you just put extra vinegar and a little bit of oil so it's not creamy. So we'll dispense of that, get rid of this. So here we go. We got our mayonnaise, our sugar, our apple cider. It's calling for 2 teaspoons or tablespoons of lemon juice. 1, 2. Now here's where it changes for me. I put in 2 teaspoons of horseradish. Something about the horseradish is unbelievable. It turns the flavor totally different. I'm going to mix this up, get it nice and creamy. I also add celery seed. I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of celery seed in there. Gives it that country flavor, that Dutch flavor. I don't know if it's Dutch or not. And then we're going to hit it with a teaspoon of salt and pepper, which I have made here in a bowl. It's good to have a bowl of salt and pepper right here on your table so you can adjust the seasoning as you need instead of bringing out the salt and the pepper. Now what it is a very nice creamy, mix this up. Very nice. Nice and smooth. Give it a taste. Make sure we don't need to adjust it. Delicious. Delicious. So we're going to pour this on top of the cabbage. Now you can put slivered onion in here. I mean, you know, whatever your flavor is. We're going to mix this up. This is going to wilt, so you may think you don't have enough dressing, but you really do, because too much dressing will make it super soggy, and the last thing you want is the juice to be dripping off the plate when you go to serve it. So here we are. Mix this up well. It's coated, ready for service. We're going to grab a plate out of our little plate drawer here. These are for 2 racks. I'll put this plate over here, grab my tongs. This could actually sit a little bit longer, but just to show you presentation, put the coleslaw down. We're going to grab a rib. Hot, hot, hot. We're going to cut the rib. Now this is falling off the bone, which is the only way I can eat it, because it's just so freaking awesome. Now, this is for 2 racks of ribs. I could eat a whole rack of rib, but I'm not going to try to get all this on the plate. But I do want to show you how good it will look when it's on the plate. And there we have it. We have barbecued pork ribs with a fresh coleslaw with celery seed. I'm going to garnish this up a little bit and take a picture for the plate presentation. But if you had an ear of roasted corn with that, you're just set for a very good barbecued summer meal. So I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for next week. We're going to do some really awesome stuff, and this is Chef Jamie saying, live well, eat well, honestly. EaseE Eats. Thank you.